In this episode, I'm going to show you 4 gaming mats from a company called Mats by Mars. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Game Terrain Engineering. I'm DM Jim, and in this episode I want to show off 4 mats that I recently received for review from a company called Mats by Mars. I reached out to them because I am anxiously waiting to play a game called Ghost Archipelago. Here's the book right here, written by a friend of mine, Joe McCullough. Hey Joe. Ghost Archipelago is a spin-off of a game called Frostgrave. This war game, it's a skirmish war game, so you're looking at maybe 10 miniatures per player. It takes place in the Lost Isles, so it's got this jungle theme. Now, in last week's episode, I built this skull pyramid. You can watch that video right there. This skull pyramid is just one piece that I'm creating for my larger Ghost Archipelago, play area. And what's interesting is with the game, I've got some gluing to do. This is the crewman. I've got to make 8 crewmen out of this and paint them up, glue them up, paint them up, the whole thing. Here is my heritor. Can't really see these so well, sorry. My heritor and my warden, female, male, and I got to get these painted up. Everything's got to get done in the next week or two because I'm really wanting to play Ghost Archipelago at my local gaming store. In anticipation of that, you can hear the 3D printer going. I'm doing a lot of, this is the busiest my workshop has ever been, probably in a year or more. I've got the 3D printer going. I've got some mats that I'm getting ready to roll up and put in the bag. Got to get painting, all this good stuff. So if you are a Ghost Archipelago player or a potential player, one of the mats that I'm going to show you in just a moment is it's a jungle theme, and it's really nicely done, and it's gonna look great on the table when I pull it out and put all the terrain down. I'm ready for this. So again, I want to give a special thank you to Mats by Mars. Thank you for sending these mats. I really like them. Some of them are going to be very useful with the Star Wars Legion war game that comes out in 2018, early 2018. There's 2 in particular that are very three that are very particular to the Star Wars universe. They fit. So enough of that. I'm going to take you to the video and show you some of these mats with terrain and some without, because I haven't been busy enough, I guess, creating terrain for all the various Star Wars locales. Anyway, let's get to the video and take a look at these mats. What you're looking at is the first of 4 mats I want to show you. These are from Mats by Mars, M-A-T-S-B-Y-M-A-R-S. I'll put a link in the description below. Now, this mat is a vinyl mat, and as you can see, this one is the jungle theme, and actually it's called Forgotten Temple. You can see there's some terrain here and vines, a statue that's fallen. I think I put this on top of it. Yeah, there it is. But this is the mat that I used last night for my gaming session for the Tomb of Annihilation. The players are on the island of Chult, and they encountered this pyramid right here as an entrance to a tomb, and they also encountered a T-Rex. I just threw some things out here so you'd get a better idea. This is the 3-foot by 3-foot mat. Now I will tell you, I've taped, double-sided tape. I've taped it down. It does not curl as bad as I thought it would, but if you're going to keep these rolled up, like those right there, they recommend that you roll them the image side out. I haven't been doing that, learned my lesson. What's interesting is after a few hours of play, this starts actually going down. There's some sort of coating the company talks about. It's been treated so that it's less likely to curl. Now again, it will curl a little bit. All mats will do that except for the neoprene kind. So what's the advantage here? Well, this 3-foot by 3-foot mat is $35 US. Similar size neoprene, I've seen them anywhere from $45 up to $75, depending on where you get it. Now the neoprene are like the mouse pads. They roll out and they lay flat immediately. But putting a little tape under the edges to prevent the curling, it's just not a big deal for me. And my gaming table, we have plexiglass that we put over our mats that we can ride on. And that's what I did last night, and so I didn't even worry about the curling. Now, they do say that you can write on this with wet dry markers. I'm not going to try that. I like these. I love these mats. They look good, and I just don't want to risk putting some smudges or anything on them. That said, we put plexiglass on top at my gaming table or at my gaming group, and I can write on the plexiglass. But this 3 foot by 3 foot is more than enough for my table. If you're going to be playing a game that you need more, the Mats by Mars offers all their mats in much bigger sizes. Let me see if I can tell you. They have 24 by 24, 36 by 36, 36 by 48, and 48 by 48. So 4 foot by 4 foot appears to be the largest they sell. I like it. I don't know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it in the comments. But the colors are very vibrant. The detail work, I mean, those vines look real. You get up close to it and then you realize it's two-dimensional, but it almost looks like I've done something here with some vines. This is like I said, this is the Forgotten Temple mat, and I'm gonna show you a few others, but I wanted to show it to you with some terrain on it, and I hope you like it. And again, $35 for the 3 foot by 3 foot version you see here. All right, what you're looking at now is the 3 foot by 3 foot mat. This one is called Molten Crust. And when Mats by Mars offered to give me some mats to try out, I specifically requested one that was similar to Mustafar, Darth Vader's planet where he has his citadel. And I've put my 2 Imperial bunkers here, and it looks it looks really good. You've got some lava cracks in the surface here. The actual surface is very rocky. Again, the detail is just really good. Just give you a look over here. And I've taped it down in the corners. It is curling. I stored it wrong. I had it wrapped inside out instead of the print surface on the outside. When you do that, it tends to lie flat, they say. I didn't want to do double-sided anymore. It takes too much time, so I just stuck some tape on. But if you intend to use something like this, like I said in the previous mat, you could always put a piece of plexiglass over it if you want, if you don't like to tape it down. But I have noticed that these tend to flatten out after an hour or two of gameplay. They tend to, I guess it's just the material just relaxes and it finally settles down. This one's been stored rolled up for about a week, and you can see some rippling, but not bad. I mean, I've seen other mats that when you undo them, even after an hour or two, they have waves in them. This is actually unrolled after about a week of storage, so the rippling is not so bad. You can see a little bit of it right there, but again, not so bad to play on. Nothing that would interfere, I think, or tip over any miniatures. But this would be a perfect mat for the new Star Wars Legion game if you wanted to have some sort of scenario on Mustafar or a planet that had this kind of terrain. This one is also $35 for the 3 foot by 3 foot. Okay. All right, let's take a look at another one. Another mat that I told the Mats by Mars guys that I would like to try is one of Tatooine. This one is called Swallowing Sands. It is actually not available yet. They sent it to me to test it out. I assume that it's going to also be about $35. This is the 3 foot by 3 foot version as well. I've got a single structure on it. Now I will tell you this right now, my camera and also the lighting, I'm in natural lighting right now, is not doing this mat justice. It is a very yellowy, sandy color, and I have no idea why that's not showing up in the video I'm seeing right now. If I get a little closer, it's still not, it's definitely not as yellow. Like for instance, right here, this is very yellowy, and on here it just looks sort of white and washed out. I don't know why that is. Maybe if I pull the camera back a little more. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but you'll just have to trust me on this. It is a very yellowy sand colored mat that looks really good. It fits Tatooine for Star Wars Legion. If you're planning on playing some war games on Tatooine, this would be your mat. Nothing really out of the ordinary here. Some rocks and gravel, dark patches on top of lighter brown, and then gold patches. I really like this one. I wish I had some more terrain. I've got to get started on making some more terrain for Tatooine. This would look really good for a Star Wars Legion game on the planet, and just need more terrain that would fit the locale. I'm thinking like Mos Eisley or something like that. Again, this one is not out yet. It's called Swallowing Sands, and it is probably going to be, I would imagine, the same price. Now, interestingly enough, this one has also been curled or rolled up image side in for about a week, and this one unrolled. When I unrolled it, there was no rippling. The only reason I've taped the edges is because those did curl, and they're holding it down, as you can see right here. But on the mat itself, no rippling, or almost zero rippling, as compared to the Mustafar one. So not sure, maybe they were stored differently. Maybe I didn't wrap this one as tightly as the other one. I was pleased to see that it didn't have the rippling that I noticed in the Mustafar. But overall, I like the look of this mat. Again, I really wish I could get you the exact color of it. Not sure what's going on, but it definitely does not match up to what you're seeing in the video. So let's take a look at the fourth and final mat. Here is the fourth and final mat that Mats by Mars sent me. This one is called Frozen Lake, the 3x3 foot version. This one is available for $35 in that size. Interestingly enough, this one goes up quite a ways. This one goes up to 36 by 72. I haven't dug deep into all their mats. I imagine that the sizes available depend upon the mat, because some of them I saw they max out at 4 foot by 4 foot. But this one you can get 3 foot by 6 foot, so not too bad. This one is very interesting because yesterday, at the time I'm recording this, Fantasy Flight Games announced some of the expansions for the new Star Wars Legion game. One of them is the Air Speeder. A lot of us know it as the Snow Speeder. I imagine that there's going to be a lot of Star Wars players who want to play on Hoth, and this would be a great mat for that, especially if you purchase some of those air speeders and paint them as snow speeders. But this one is called Frozen Lake. It's got a lot of blue in it. I guess that's supposed to be the water under the ice, but it still looks, it still has that Hoth look to it, and I think it would be suitable for a Hoth game. Now, one thing I did different with this mat, because I realized I was taping down the edges, I want you to notice there's just a couple ripples, nothing major. This one was also rolled up for about a week. I just unrolled it, laid it out, and as you can see, the only curling is happening on this edge and right over there. Very, very subtle on that side. But other than a couple ripples, this one laid out almost flat, and I'm very pleased with that. These ripples, I've noticed, after a while, they will flatten themselves out. I guess gravity and the material itself, it just sort of loosens up and settles in. But there you go. That's a 3 foot by 3 foot mat that was stored, rolled up for a week with the image inside instead of outside as the company recommends. And as you can see, the ripples are almost non-existent. There's just a couple. But it's interesting that this one laid out very nice and would be ready to go at the gaming table with just some slight curling on the ends that you could fix either with tape or by putting something over it. So I wish I had some terrain. I have not worked on any Hoth terrain. Guess I need to work on that. There you go. This one is called Frozen Lake, and that is the last of the 4 mats provided to me by Mats by Mars. I'm going to put the link to all 4 mats in the description, well, except for the sand one, which isn't available yet, Swallowing Sands. If it's out by the time I put this video up, I'll put the link there. But if you like that one, you'll just have to pay attention to the Mats by Mars website to see when it's released. And I'll reach out to them and see if they have a date, and if they can provide me a date, I'll put it in the description. But I hope you like this. I don't want to spend a fortune on mats. $35 for a 3 foot by 3 foot mat that rolls up. And by the way, this material, I want to show you this. This material is very thin, very thin. The neoprene, is usually pretty thick. And I've seen players when they roll up that neoprene, it makes a big bulky tube. one of the things that Mats by Mars talks about is how the thin nature of these mats make them very easy to store. I will agree with that. I took all 4 mats, put them on top of each other, and rolled them up and stored them for a week in anticipation of making this video. Just because of the thinness, when they were rolled up, they didn't take up any real space. They weren't bulky, and they definitely weren't heavy. And I guess if you're hauling around a lot of gaming gear and stuff like that, you probably don't want to be hauling around a lot of heavy mats. Well, one of these, I wish I could tell you the weight of it, but I mean, it's not. It's almost like cloth. It's so light. I liked how they rolled up together. Now, I will tell you this, over here you can see, I've rolled them up with the image outside, right over there. And that's supposed to help with the curling and make the mat so that when you do unroll it, the curl actually faces down, and they say it flattens out much faster than of course, the way I was storing them. They are washable. You can rinse if there's spills and stuff. They're waterproof. Or spill resistant. I guess you don't want to spill some things on them, like paint and such. But if you take good care of it, I could see this mat lasting a very long time if you take care of it. I tend to take care of my gaming stuff, so I'm not worried about these mats getting frayed. I mean, you always have to worry about other players not taking care of your stuff. But if you buy it and you're using it and you take good care of it, it should last a very, very long time. So thanks for joining me on looking at these 4 Mats by Mars. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. Remember, the 3 that are available now in the 3 foot by 3 foot are $35 each. And I hope you find one or saw one that you might enjoy using in your game. And again, if you have any questions, post them below. And if I can't answer them, I'll reach out to Mats by Mars and see if I can get a response from them. Those are the 4 mats that I was sent by Mats by Mars. I have wrapped them up, as you can see, into one bundle. It's very light. These are very thin, very thin maps. I've rolled them image out, which is the recommended way to do that, so that when you unfold them, they will not curl up. They'll curl downward. And as I showed in the video, after 20 or 30 minutes, maybe even less, these mats gravity tends to just let them finally settle down. But again, you could always use some tape to push them down, or just terrain to hold down the corners. That does not bother me. I know that some people don't like ripples or any kind of wave in their mats, and the neoprene stuff does avoid that. I've priced out some neoprene mats of the size and detail that I want, and they're definitely more expensive. These are, well, the 3 that are being sold right now. The 3 foot by 3 foot is $35 each, and I assume that the one that's not out available yet, the Tatooine version, Swallowing Sands, that one probably will also be $35 is my best guess. But thanks to Mats by Mars for sending these out and letting me test them out. I will be testing them out with my Star Wars Legion wargame next year, and with the Ghost Archipelago game that I'm hoping to play this coming weekend, maybe in 2 weekends. I've got a lot to do, a lot of gluing and painting of these figures, some more terrain to make, but I'm getting really excited. And if you haven't checked out Ghost Archipelago, this is the book. It's thin, it's a skirmish war game. You do not have a big investment here. You're looking at 10 figures maximum just to play the game. And there is quite a following for Frostgrave and Ghost Archipelago. So hopefully at your local gaming store you can find some fellow players who are willing to give it a spin. If you haven't, if you're looking at testing it out before you buy, definitely call up your gaming store and see if they have some fans there they're going to be playing. Go in, take a look, maybe see if you can pick up a game. And if you do like it, join us, because I can tell you I've loved Frostgrave. Frostgrave takes place in a frozen environment. This one is an island environment, but the rules are very similar. There are some differences, but just very, very anxious to play it. So anyway, thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next episode.